From the CBS Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, this is CBS2 News at 5 p.m.
Another storm is blowing through the Southern California area, and it's not over yet. More is on the way. This video just into our newsroom of the rainy streets in downtown Los Angeles. We're expecting to see more soggy cities as the night rolls on. And we have breaking news right now in Pico Union. A tree down with power lines down as well.
Stu Mendel is overhead in Sky 2. Stu.
Jeff, Pat, it is definitely raining out here, and a tree did come down. It's at the corner of 12th and Union. You can see DWP out there because when that tree came down, it did take down some power lines. More than a couple, actually a couple of blocks worth of homes out in the area don't have power right now. You see the Department of Water and Power out there working to resolve the problem. They got to cut that tree down and then bring those power lines back up. While that's going on, the area that we're showing you right there, some of those homes without power, and a portion of Union is going to be closed right at 12th. Live in Sky 2, I'm Stu Mendel. Back to you two in the studio.
Thank you, Stu. Well, residents in the burn areas are also bracing for possible damage.
Yeah, they are ready as our first responders, should there be any sign of trouble.
We have live Stormwatch team coverage for you. Let's go right to meteorologist Garth Kemp first to tell us where things stand right now. Garth?
Yeah, Pat. Well, we're still way below the threshold. It's good that people are taking precautions towards the burn area just because there's been so much burn area throughout Southern California. So there is loose debris through the area, but the rainfall rates are really good for us. This is radar right now. I want to show you where it is, the leading edge of that front, just down to the south of us right now. So it's shaping up just the way I thought it was going to yesterday, out towards Calabasas, Agoura Hills, 101 area, out not too far from where Bell Canyon was. You can see some light showers through there, but it's minimal. It's not a lot of rain. Santa Clarita picking up a little bit heavier. If you drive, takes you up the 5, the 14. Soledad Canyon, you can see it up there as you make your way just up on the 5, picking up light to moderate rain there. South Bay, same for y'all. Across the 405 into Inglewood. Good afternoon, Inglewood. The 110 freeway. Light rain continues to fall there. Right now, what it's doing is just making a little bit of mess of the roads. We're not seeing any flooding going on through the area at all. We're starting to see a little bit of light snow flying as well. So shaking out exactly like I thought. We'll have the whole forecast. That's coming up in just about 15 to 16 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Keep you updated. Back to you two.
All right, Garth, thanks. People are still recovering from the Woolsey and Hill fire areas. They're bracing for what this next band of rain might bring.
Well, they've done all they can. Now all they can do is wait. CBS 2's Amy Johnson continues our live Stormwatch coverage from Malibu tonight. Amy.
Well, Pat and Jeff, we're just getting a light mist right now, but it's the rain that people living in the Woolsey burn areas are really concerned about. And what they're really worried about are these charred hillsides. They're worried that if we get too much rain, these hillsides could lend themselves to mud flows and debris flows, and they're hoping that sandbags and tarps will hold these charred soils in place. Piles of sandbags were dropped off at Zuma Beach in Malibu for homeowners living in the recent burn areas who are trying to protect their property from any trouble caused by the rain. People loaded up as many bags as they could before the light mist turned to a heavier rain.
It's a bittersweet rain. We need it.
Sandbags were lined up outside this home.
Landslides are something we've always had. But I mean, now that we've lost so much of the vegetation, the ground is so more susceptible to slides.
This is the second storm since the Woolsey fire. The first storm caused some minor problems. The morning commute saw heavy rain at times, but it isn't expected to be enough to cause any major problems in the recent burn areas.
So anything at more than ½ an inch per hour, that's when you get those mud flow events, and you can get a mud and debris flow.
But the county is ready should any problems arise.
We have extra patrols on today, just patrolling the area with Public Works, ourselves, and sheriffs, and in the event that something does happen.
Now, there are no evacuation orders in place right now, but Haskett says if you are evacuated because of a mudslide or debris flow, he says be sure to go to higher ground. Do not run down a hill to escape the mud or debris. Reporting live in Malibu, Amy Johnson, CBS 2 News.
Amy, thank you. This latest storm is causing some big concerns at Capistrano Beach in Dana Point. The rain and high surf are making erosion at the beach worse. This morning, construction crews battled the rain to stabilize the boardwalk. Take a look, that big chunk of it fell into the ocean last week. Back in October, a concrete walkway buckled because of the erosion. The area is also prone to storm damage. We are going to have more rain coverage for you just ahead. Don't forget, you can see exactly when the rain will fall in your area with our weather app. It's free for Apple and Android users.
Breaking news right now from Monrovia. The bodies of a woman and a girl were found inside an apartment on the 800 block of West Colorado Boulevard. Monrovia police say the victims appear to be a mother and her daughter. Now, police also tell us they were doing a welfare check on the girl after she had not shown up for school this week. Sheriff's homicide detectives and Monrovia police are investigating the deaths, and we will have a live report from the scene on CBS2 News at 6.
There's been another high-profile burglary. This time, thieves struck the home of an LA Charger, while his kids were at home. The scary incident happened this past weekend at the San Fernando Valley home of tight end Antonio Gates. His kids were inside. The burglars scaled a fence and stole items from the garage. TMZ reports the thieves even rummaged through Gates' high-end cars, including his Rolls-Royce. Detectives are checking security video. It is the latest burglary targeting athletes as well as celebrities. And there's heartbreak for an Orange County family who lost their husband and father in a hit-and-run accident.
Yeah, the suspect was caught, but the victim's family is devastated. CBS2 Orange County reporter Michelle Gili is live in Santa Ana with their story. Michelle.
When Jose Espetia's 22-year-old daughter heard about the accident, she tells me she expected to visit her dad in the hospital. She says he was like a superhero and he could conquer everything. But this car accident was deadly.
My dad was everything.
The two oldest daughters of Jose Espetia are in shock after losing their dad in a hit-and-run crash on the 55 freeway in Costa Mesa Tuesday night. In the entryway of their home in Orange, they've set up a picture of the 48-year-old along with flowers and candles. He was a husband and father of 5.
My dad was the best person in the entire world. He was my hero. He was everything for us.
The family says Espetia had just watched one of his girls play soccer and was dropping off his brother and niece when a driver, alleged to be under the influence, rammed 2 cars and sped away. Jose Espetia wasn't wearing a seatbelt. He was ejected and died. About a mile from the crash, an alert citizen saw the suspect and his damaged car and called police.
He was supposed to come back.
Amy Espetia has set up a GoFundMe page. This is the family all together last Christmas. She writes to potential donors, "I want to see my dad as soon as possible." The girls are trying to raise money for their dad's funeral.
He always said, as long as I live, you'll never have to worry about anything.
And we have a link to that GoFundMe account on our website. Meantime, here at the Men's Central Jail in Santa Ana sits Bernardo Zalpa. He is the man who the CHP arrested for alleged driving under the influence as well as hit and run. That's the latest live in Santa Ana. I'm Michelle Gili. Back to you.
Sky 2 was over a grim discovery this afternoon in Santa Clarita. Someone found human remains west of Magic Mountain Parkway and Railroad Avenue. Homicide detectives are on the case gathering information. They're asking the public for help as well. If you can, give the LA County Sheriff's Department a phone call if you know anything.
Police are looking for a rape suspect in El Segundo. They have identified this man, Kerry Frank Lathan, as the attacker. Police say Lathan is accused of raping a woman near the Douglas Street Metro Station Sunday morning. They believe he travels between El Segundo and Hawthorne on the Metro Green Line.
A great and noble man, the best father a son or daughter could have.
A tearful goodbye from a son to his father. The nation paused today to salute a president and a patriot, George Herbert Walker Bush. Politicians past and present joined world dignitaries in Washington, D.C. to celebrate the life and legacy of the 41st U.S. president.
And tonight, he is back home in Texas for one last stand before being laid to rest.
And CBS2 political reporter Dave Ryan is here with the emotional memorial service, and it certainly was.
It really was. It was quite an impressive service, and it was interesting to see all the presidents in the front row side by side. All the living presidents came together under one roof to pay tribute to one of their own. Those close to Mr. Bush spoke of his strength as well as his kindness. However, today's state funeral is not the last goodbye. A little over an hour ago, the plane carrying President George H.W. Bush's casket landed at Ellington Field in Houston. The first family stood by as another ceremony honored the war hero. It capped off a day filled with memories, tears, and words of gratitude for a man who served his country both in uniform and in the Oval Office. George H.W. Bush's last journey to his adopted home state of Texas is now complete. Following an emotional farewell service attended by former and current world leaders, including all living former presidents, as well as President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump.
To us, his was the brightest of 1,000 points of light.
Moving tributes from those who worked with him.
The most decent and honorable person I ever met was my friend George Bush, one of nature's noble men.
Those who wrote about him.
His life code, as he said, was tell the truth, don't blame people, be strong, do your best, try hard, forgive, stay the course.
Those who understand the legacy he leaves behind.
I believe it will be said that no occupant of the Oval Office was more courageous, more principled, and more honorable than George Herbert Walker Bush.
And then came strong words from his family. First, his granddaughters.
Death will be no more. Mourning and crying and pain will be no more.
And then his son.
Through our tears, let us know the blessings of knowing and loving you, a great and noble man, the best father a son or daughter could have. And in our grief, let us smile knowing that Dad is hugging Robin and holding Mom's hand again.
And we have some live shots here now at this hour. Mr. Bush's body is lying in repose at a Houston church. His family called home for more than half a century. And you can see this live shot being taken there now. Tomorrow, another service will take place before he's laid to rest next to his wife, Barbara, and their 3-year-old daughter, Robin, who died from leukemia. So it was quite a day, and a day where a president from another political era, was honored by everyone.
It was so moving.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, Dave, thanks very much. The LA Sparks are adding a little Lakers royalty to its organization. The 3-time WNBA champions have named Lakers legend Derek Fisher as their new coach. Fisher, of course, won 5 championships with the Lakers. He's also coached before as well. He had a stint as the head coach of the New York Knicks. The team will hold a news conference to introduce Fisher on Friday. Sports director Jim Hill will have more on a big announcement ahead on the CBS2 News at 6.
All right. Well, coming up next, why SpaceX blasted worms into space.
Plus, the Studio City man is in trouble with the law after his tiger cub became a YouTube star. Why he's now facing charges? Hint, he had a tiger.
Then an insurance company gives a local family with health challenges several quotes, then forces them to pay the highest premium, not once, but twice. 2 on Your Side steps in to help ahead at 5.
Snow has been coming down in Big Bear. We'll let you know about the current conditions and what's in the forecast.